Why is it that attraction can be instantaneous? Like you see somebody for the first time and you just feel something for that person. There's like a magnetic attraction towards that person, but you don't even know anything about that person. You see them from across the room, across the street, but for whatever reason, it seems like they would be the perfect partner. Why do we feel that way? Does it have anything to do with love? How do you explain the phenomenon of instant attraction? So that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. We all know that everybody sees beauty differently. You know, there's the classical universal beauty, which are probably the people you see on advertisements or magazine covers. You know, most people would agree that yes, that is an attractive person. And then you have subjective beauty. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? What one person finds beautiful, others might not. For example, you and your friends might have very different tastes in what you find attractive. So how do we explain that? Part of it can be explained by biology. The reason why we are attracted to other human beings and not rocks and trees is because of our biology. And since we are programmed to reproduce, we always look for signs of health and fertility. So youth, in shape, symmetrical face, things that indicate good genetics. These are the mechanisms in our brain that try to get us to reproduce. You should already know that. But that's the biological part of it. But it can't totally explain why you find somebody attractive while others don't. That has to be explained by psychology. So first, you need to understand that the way you interpret certain physical characteristics like body shapes and faces as symbolic representations of deeper personality traits. The reason why certain people really appeal to you is because you interpret their physical appearance as representing that ideal image, that ideal person, not only on the outside, but on the inside as well. For example, there are guys out there that like a girl with beautiful blonde hair, right? Pouty lip, really big boobs and butt. Doesn't matter if it's natural or not. Because symbolically speaking, she looks fun and sexy, right? But for other guys, she is so far from looking natural that it might be a turn off. They might look at her and think she is shallow, she is high maintenance, she is very materialistic. You see, they interpret those same physical features, but for them, that's a red flag. Even for you watching this video, you probably have this perfect archetype of what your ideal partner should be. And you know those specific physical features that you really respond to. Just look at the people you dated in the past. Or, I don't want to sound too crude here, but you probably recognize what you find arousing when you watch movies. This is why attraction can be instantaneous. You see, you already have that pre-existing, perfect fantasy figure operating in your mind. All it takes is the right trigger. So whenever you see somebody that has all the right features, it feels as though it's love at first sight. Like, they're perfect, that's the one. But that's just your mind tricking you. Their physical appearances just happened to check all your boxes. Now I'm gonna go off tangent a bit here and explain why I think this is dangerous. When you meet somebody for the first time and you feel that instant attraction, it's very easy to overlook everything else. And some people really trust their gut over their rational mind. Like, everything about their appearance is just so perfect, which means they must be perfect on the inside. You know, even though they're ignoring me, they're cheating on me, they're abusing me, but I just can't let that go because they just looked so perfect. You need to be aware of this weakness inside your mind because physical appearance is not absolute. And rationally speaking, nobody can really be a fantasy figure. I think a lot of people have a misunderstanding about love. They have this ideal image of a perfect partner, and they specifically look for somebody who can fill in that image. Or it's like they're looking for an actor to cast into a role. What a fucking disaster. That's a terrible way of approaching love. I apologize, my language has got a bit more colorful. But my point is, you need to enter relationships with a blank slate. Of course, there are certain beliefs and values that you want to uphold, but you need to see that person for who they really are. Because here's the danger. When you are comparing a person to a fantasy, you're going to have a lot of incentive to overlook all the times that they don't correspond with your fantasy. You so badly want that person to be the perfect partner that any times they show any signs of not being that ideal person, you're either gonna ignore it or you get angry at them, and you're not really justified to do that. And I think this is one of the causes of abuse, because let's say that person that you're with doesn't turn out to be that perfect fantasy in your mind. And instead of seeing them for who they really are, you judge them, you shame them, you abuse them, you try to make them into this pre-existing mold. I mean, you can see how dysfunctional that is, right? Anyways, just to quickly summarize my point, I do believe that attraction can be instantaneous, but that's just your mind tricking you. It doesn't really mean anything. That's not love at first sight. That is lust at first sight. So if you found somebody who physically just checked all your boxes, good for you. But just be aware that it's not really indicative of a healthy relationship. It might last for a while, and how long it lasts really depends on how committed you are to your fantasy. It could last for a month, 3 months, 6 months, years, but it won't last forever because fantasy and reality cannot coexist. However, if you were to approach relationships in a normal, healthy way, there needs to be more than just attraction. Anyway, that's all I have for this video. Let me know what you think in the comment. If you find this topic interesting, check out my other video about unconditional love and selfish love. I'm going to link it somewhere here. Until next time, stay curious.